welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Ben Slinger, and with me, as always, is Trevor Scott.
Hello, Lounge Sessions part
Whatever.
million.
I know, this is just the new normal now.
I do like the fact that
It's great. It's great. Get to hang out with you across the couch every week rather than just looking at yet another screen.
And we both look at too many screens, so this is so much better to actually have real people.
That's it. So, yeah, what are we going to do tonight?
Let's go some just good old click pitch.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Click pitch.
It's been like nice and easy. I reckon in the next week or two, I might go, let's do
Movies or something.
Like that. Because we haven't done that for a little while. But I'm enjoying the silliness that comes with some of these later random word generator inspired games. I'm not on the alcohol tonight.
No, Trevor was feeling a bit off, so he's taking it easy.
I'm sitting on the other side of the couch for, belly reasons.
But yeah, all right. Well, we've each got a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We're each going to get a word, and we're going to throw them at each other.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, click. Machinery.
Deposit.
Oh. Deposit is interesting. Just as a verb within a gameplay mechanic sense to just...
I like the idea of what is the automation on the other side of, the bank. You put a deposit in, and then there's just a bunch of automation that is just happening behind the scenes.
It's like one of those Looney Tunes. I've kind of half got the music. There's that music that goes with the Looney Tunes. It's like dun, 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 dun. That's not quite it, but I'm feeling like that. Yeah. Oh, I actually like the idea of a wacky Looney Tunes sort of automation where it's like these big gloved hands coming down to pick things up and move them onto another conveyor. And
it's like, how do you then sort it? And it's like, it doesn't really matter how you sort it. It's just that it needs to get from here to here, but it's also like coins should be over here and notes should be over here.
Yeah. Oh, well, and then it's definitely... It's either Looney Tunes-ish or Dr. Seuss-ish. I'm not sure which, but you've got
hands.
You've got a dude sitting there just sorting it one by one as these things drop in front of his face. But that's in the mechanic of the game, that's just like a thing you can put down, which is Gerald sorting coins from cash.
Beware, Gerald's cost 10,000.
And
you got a budget,
and he has to take a break every now and then.
Yeah, I really like the idea of everything is going to machinery in all these banks now. You barely ever see bank tellers, and it's like this is what's going on behind the scenes for the deposit machine.
Yeah,
and it's like you need to create a different one for each bank.
Well, and I think I kind of like the idea that
because they're all got different spaces.
Right. Behind every bank now is just the act. Like you can't go into a bank anymore because it's all just the automation of the bank machine.
Wow, this seems really small. The building looks so large from the outside. And it's like
it's just this one ATM there. Well, I also like then though different features that the ATM has. Like initially it's just withdraw cash. And you have to set up the automation for that a signal comes in, here's the amount of cash, that has to get handed through the gloved hands on the end of sticks is passing the note back all the way back to where the big cash repository is or whatever. That you've got someone in there who counts out the money and hands it back. And then, that has to go through some sort of checking thing to make sure it's like a verification or something that it's
just a guy with a magnifying glass, just making sure.
Yeah, exactly. It passes in front of his eye and his eye goes all big like the Looney Tunes. and then eventually, like spits it out. But then you get one, in this one we need to take deposits as well, and then that's a whole other process. Or we need to be able to show a balance, or
showing a balance. I mean, that's a lot of typing.
And then you can go even further, and it's like, this one lets you get a loan for a house, or lets you. This one has anti. If someone tries to rob the ATM, it's got like, a fucking gun that comes out on the end of a stick. That's cool. Honestly, a Looney Tunes-esque automation game like that with the right animator and stuff, that'd be so cool.
All hand animated too. Like it's got to be.
You'd need a lot of good IK, but yes, the gestures and stuff you want like nice hand animated stuff. That's it, like picking things up with its just finger and thumb.
Very pinching and just going and handing it off.
Well, that's it. Sometimes you have to pick out a particular like a single note at a time. That's cool.
3 to 1 click.
Yeah. Giant
cassette.
A giant cassette. Okay.
Oh, there is something about you're in this town, everything's going well, and you come out one day, there's this massive cassette tape.
Okay.
That just appears one day.
Yep.
And
now, is it unspooled?
I think some of it is. And it breaks. Like this whole town has sort of been talking about for the longest time how they feel like they've been deserted from the rest of the world. Like maybe what's actually happened is they've actually shrunk right down. So no matter how far they sort of go, they're never getting close enough to where.
Okay, yeah. And this is sort of their realization of something that's happened. Yeah, I was thinking like having them be this tiny civilization and it's just a regular sized cassette tape. I do like that. I think then this game, like, I feel like it's a bit of just sort of an action adventure-ish sort of thing maybe, but you have to go through all this effort to like get something that will fit into the spool to like rewind the tape back on, and then you have to like you've got fucking like oxen and stuff that are dragging this cassette tape, and it turns out that those what you thought were mountains in the distance are like the things that the gears for the cassette thing, and you have to somehow like get it up there.
What I kind of think about is like the whole idea of if you're really, really small and there's something really, really big, like there's a speed differential that seems to happen, that the much bigger looking thing moves a lot slower than what you're moving at. And I believe it's like
I think there's definitely in like animation and stuff, that's a way to make things feel big. And I think that's because like if you just think of at our size, like if something's then that big, the air resistance and the actual ability to move through space, if it moved at the regular speed of a human, like proportionately, then it would look very wrong. So yeah, you do sometimes have to do a bit of that, I think, to really make the things feel big like that.
I like the idea of it. Actually, they didn't realize it, but of course, time is actually running effectively slower for them now. Like as they now look into it a little bit more, it's like, oh yeah, we just never really noticed that the clocks seem to actually run.
Well, I guess are they looking
the same speed, but really, it's like it feels like there's so much more time in between a second now.
So, just to expand on that general idea, whether we like of the smaller, like the shrunken down town or village or whatever, I actually really like the sense of the exploration of that and the understanding. Like it's almost the discovery of what's happened, and like you've got your own scientists or whatever, and one of them, reinvents the telescope or whatever, and then looks across the land that was previously thought to just be the Great Gap or whatever, and realizes, wait a sec, there's a desk over there, and we're on a desk over here, we're on a table. Like sort of that exploration of realizing what's happened here, whereas your whole life you've grown up in this place, but that the time is actually moving much faster for you, and it's been like a week since this happened, but it's generations, yeah. And then unraveling all of that,
and there is also something about, like, as we know, with the curvature of the Earth and all this sort of stuff, it's only so far that you can see. The lower that you are, like, to the ground, you can't see that much further ahead. So it feels normal to you that, oh, I didn't realize that, like, that massive house in the distance,
Well, that's it. I guess
it just looked like
it would
mountains
actually be
to me,
very interesting to figure out how that, from a perspective point of view, if your eyes are half a centimeter off the ground or less, like, because we're kind of like less than a millimeter off the ground, we're sort of thinking these are very shrunken, tiny, if it's an entire village at least sitting on a desk. Then from that perspective,
if you need 30
the sort of horizon
cassette, then it's fucking
this is
small.
what I mean. Yeah. So the horizon then, I'd be curious to do some, like, a render or something to figure out, what does that actually look like when you're on a regular sized table, but you're that tiny and in the middle of this table. Like, how far can you see?
Yeah.
At some point, we can't see forever in the distance either. Like, atmosphere, the light is scattered through the atmosphere. Is there an element of that? But then, the sort of the discoveries, the explorations of leaving this place, or of something like, something got carelessly put on the desk, dropped on the desk.
I mean, again, I'm thinking this is more outside rather than desk,
or wherever. I suppose so.
I just love the idea that many years ago, like, something happened and it seemed that they were cut off from the rest of the world, and they sent parties off in every direction to try and get to other towns.
Yeah.
And they were never able to make it. And it's because, like, they're so small now that basically to travel from here to say Gerald's house, which Gerald lived on the outskirts. Yeah. We're talking hundreds of miles.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's very much. Did you ever watch what's the alien show that the Rick and Morty guy started?
Solar Opposites.
Solar Opposites, yeah. There's a whole sub-story in Solar Opposites about the wall, which is because one of the kid aliens, to deal with something like shit that happens, they'll often just, like, shrink someone down and put them in the wall like it's an ant farm, and it's this whole big thing of all these different levels. But there's whole episodes that just follow the people in the wall. Yeah. And there's all this drama that happens, and there's religions that have been created, and, then there's the group that has managed to get out, and they're in the garden, and it's the whole whole society out there.
I really should check it out.
It is pretty good. But I'm definitely getting that sort of vibe, which is cool. Like, you don't see many games with that sort of setting. You've got something like Grounded, but that's very much more, just building up your base and survival stuff, but having it be a real, like, exploratory. You could almost do this as like a sprawling CRPG kind of thing,
You really could. And there's something about, like, you don't see any massive insects or anything like that because they were all shrunk down at the same time that you guys were. So it all just seems...
Right, like, and maybe, so until you get to sort of the boundary or something, it's... everything's proportional. You're just, in this...
Then then you realize, there's all these crystalline structures, and it's like they're fucking huge bits of sand.
Yeah.
And it's just these huge
I mean, this is the thing, depending on how
sand.
tiny you go, it's not even insects you're worrying about. Maybe you've got fucking dust mites or something, but they just become, friendly things that flap around through the air or something. And, I guess maybe you'll come across a tick. I don't know.
Depends if they make their way into the...
Depends how tiny you are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on how much you want to explore them as well. But anyway, yeah.
3, 2, 1 click.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea for a game, and I can see how it could very much be a CRPG. The different, the people who left years ago and have started a little settlement, and it's like you're learning new information from them and finding where the edge of this thing is and what else is out there and can you get through it. Yeah, anyway. One thing we didn't talk about is why they couldn't communicate through the internet or something like that to these other towns. But I like the idea of the antennas are too small that they can't actually accept the waves. Like there's just...
Well, and I was very much getting a sense that the technology, like for whatever reason, the technology, they weren't a current technology civilization,
Anyway, 3, 2, 1 click.
3, 2, 1 click. Broadcast.
Possession.
Ooh.
Late Night with the Devil. The video game.
Yeah, but and I mean with broadcast, I went to radio, but it could definitely be television. Yeah, I mean someone with the essential. Well, I mean it could just be someone with the power to possess people via radio waves in some way, like remotely. Or yeah, I guess if you want to go horror-esque, like actually summoning or like actual possession from a demon or something.
There is something fun about some sort of program. I do like the idea of radio. I'm thinking like Killer Frequency was that kind of fun thing where, you have someone come on and it's like Halloween night, similar to Late Night with the Devil, and they're like, how would you like to
speak to the devil?
Involved in this stunt where we speak to the devil. I'll read this thing. You pretend that you're possessed and all this sort of stuff, and or you talk to this person. They'll pretend that they're possessed.
Yep.
But really, what happens is they like read from the Necronomicon, and
and shit goes down. Yeah,
they're really, possessed by. I'm thinking along the lines of Evil Dead, where they get possessed by the Deadites, and
it's just like an entity of some sort. It's not necessarily like the leader of the Lord of the Underworld.
Yeah, I just like the idea of it not being that traditional. Oh, look, this is one of the devil's minions sort of thing. Of just it being an unknowable evil that they get possessed with, who is just taunting you, and like I think it can all be via like the phone and that sort of stuff. Like,
well, yeah. So, do you play the DJ in that Killer Frequency sort of way, or is this happening and you're witnessing it via listening to the radio as other stuff's going on, and then it like spreads in some way? I'm almost picturing you start off driving, and the radio's on, and you're listening to this, and you've got, I don't know, a destination you're trying to get to start with. But then, you hear this happening, and you just think nothing of it. But then you pull into a gas station or something, and someone there was listening to it, and they're acting really weird. That it spreads.
That's kind of cool. It's literally. There are susceptible people out there who it's spread to.
Yeah, and so they've got their own...
to be one of the only people who haven't been susceptible to this.
So then it's a bit more of a tracking down you ran into other people who weren't susceptible, but or it's almost a bit of an invasion of the or like an invasion of the body snatcher sort of thing where you don't always know. Because some of these deadites or whatever, some of these entities are a bit more intelligent and they don't taunt you right away. but then they're in there, and they'll eventually reveal themselves.
All of a sudden, they'll turn around and their eyes are just bright white, and just like happens in the movies. God, there really is something about. I think you're right. Having that driving, you experience this thing, and then it's like, oh shit, this is my mother's favorite thing. You got to then drive to get to them. You encounter a bunch of things along the way. You get pulled over by the sheriff, and he's one of these things, and it's like, oh god,
I almost want it to. It's almost like a scene plays out, and you end up having to fucking run. Like you end up having to go. It's like shit. Okay, I think I got away, but then now it's someone but then they're because originally you don't necessarily know what's happening. Maybe that cop was just a psycho. But it's like, wait, my sister or whatever, that when you finally know who you were supposed to meet, and then she's acting weird, and then it reveals that she's somehow possessed in some way. And
I don't know why, but I just love the idea of you get to your mum's place, and it turns out that she wasn't listening tonight or something like that. She notices what's been happening, and she goes to like her shelf of books or whatever, pulls it aside, and there's like all these weapons or something because she's actually, she's actually one of these monster hunters, and she's just been waiting all this time for this to come out, and she's like
she's like an Ash
sort of person from Evil Dead. Like
something happened to her.
She's dealt with this many times before, and the reason why you weren't affected is because
she's inoculated you against it in some way.
But your sister was adopted or something like that, and it's like you're part of the bloodline.
Or maybe it's not your sister. Maybe it's just like your friend or whatever, who's not under the protection of your mother.
There's something about her being a badass. Like,
oh yeah, I do like that. I do like that.
And then the last part of the game is just it turns into a full on
brawler,
painkiller-esque.
I do have a soft spot for
Bulletstorm. You really want that Bulletstorm.
Oh yeah, and you're just kicking these people into
firing shotguns, and they're just exploding all over the place.
I do have a soft spot for games that change genres halfway through.
I know, it's good.
Yeah.
3 to 1 click. Regret.
Sunshine. Regret going out in the sunshine. You're a vampire of some sort, or
There's something about, like, vitamin D, we know is really good. Can you have too much vitamin D? I mean, I'm sure maybe what you're actually allergic to as a vampire is vitamin D.
Okay.
Like your body still converts it.
Yeah.
And that's why it sets on fire, because vitamin D is actually poison to you.
Or it's something like being a vampire actually ramps up the vitamin D production so much that it just like goes into overdrive, and that's why you set on fire. It's like a metabolism thing.
Yeah.
That the sunlight just triggers that vitamin D production 1,000,000 times more.
Now, obviously, if you get it filtered through something like being reflected off the moon, that's fine.
Yeah,
because that's
again, it's the direct sunlight that triggers the vitamin D production.
Okay, I really like that
to explain away why vampires. So it's not an undead thing necessarily.
Okay, where it starts off, lady gets home from a date. She pulls off her scarf. She's got the telltale signs of a couple of marks. She's really hungry, but she goes, ugh. I need to just take my vitamins and be done with it. And she just pops a couple of vitamin D tablets, and just explodes into flames. And that's where it sort of opens up, and it's like it then just zooms in on vitamin D, and it's like this whole thing is based around we're setting up early on that we know what's actually causing
the death of vampires via sun exposure.
I like the idea that it's kind of like, remember the movie Daybreakers?
I don't know that I ever watched it. Is that the Rush, like the Eastern European one? No.
It could have been. It's basically, it's set in a world where everyone is basically now a vampire.
Right.
And there's so little humans left in the world that they've actually had to sort of resort to synthetic blood and all this sort of stuff. But the problem is the synthetic blood makes a lot of the vampires really sick, and they've got sort of the rich vampires have like human populations off to the side.
Yeah, that they're like farming basically.
They're farming for blood and all this sort of stuff. But one of the things in the movie is that there is a cure,
right,
for vampirism.
Yeah,
that what I won't go too far into it, but it's quite cool what they do with the story. Yeah. I really, really enjoy it. It has what's his name from Memento, the Australian actor,
Guy Pearce.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, okay.
It's got him in it. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's Guy Pearce, but really cool film. I really, really enjoyed it. But I like the idea of it being, this is like the very start of the vampire thing that sort of, it's now traveled across the whole globe. People and scientists are now working out that, okay, vampirism is actually just a vitamin D deficiency sort of thing, where basically you're continually running low on vitamin D. The reason why you got to drink blood is to pull in that vitamin D, unless you can get it from somewhere else. That's
that's the only way.
You're not getting
someone else's.
If you get it from the sun, it like you immediately explode because it's. But if you
get it in a pure form from like vitamins or whatever,
it's again too much because
it sets off the.
But it's perfect, just distilled through blood. Like there's just enough that you're getting through, and that there's something about there's that regret of like it's been going on for so long, and you as a vampire scientist is only sort of just worked this out, and
I do very much like. So I very much like the idea of the sort of vampirism as an altered state. That it's not that you turn evil. It's not that you're dead and come back. It's literally just sort of this virus. It does have certain effects, like it slows down your aging.
Yes,
and but it does make your teeth grow in that way. Like it's a side effect of not whatever it is.
All it really does
calcium deposits that grow.
It makes your canines just grow that little bit longer.
Yeah.
Just grow that little bit longer.
And then so many of the vampire myths then have just actually come from people who have this thing who like they, at some point it was figured out, right, we can survive if we drink blood, not knowing why. And so to sort of justify that, all of these myths have come about. But it's just mostly these fucking like evil rich fucks as usual.
I just love the idea that the reason why they think that, they can't look in the mirror is because they can't look themselves in the mirror.
It's metaphorical.
They're so disgusted by the fact that they've killed people and had blood.
That's
and all
a good little
metaphor.
That's a good little metaphor to throw in there. Yeah. They can always just be a little offhand nod to that aspect of it.
It's like, can you really live with yourself? You can't even look yourself in the mirror.
You can't even look at yourself in the mirror.
And just the idea of their scientists having so much regret and so much, like, from what they've done over the years and killed all these people that, like, they had to get the vitamin D somehow.
Well, and again, I guess it depends on, like, at what point did they know why they were doing this? They were presumably infected at a particular time and then were taught by someone who is, essentially it's a culture within the people who have this. It's almost a secret society, and the knowledge is passed down, then they're taught, oh yeah, the only way we can survive is to kill people and take their blood. You're the first person to sort of question it and actually like look into it and think about it.
Now that this virus has gone through like 60% of the population, you see.
Oh, you think it's at that point? Okay.
It's known. Like, people know that there are vampires out there and all this sort of stuff, and there are those who are infected and those who are not, and I'm just wondering how it actually transmits, whether it is through bites or whether it is just through, it's an STD sort of thing. Like,
I think in that, and again to sort of continue the myth going, usually
it's through the swapping of bodily fluids.
Usually in pop culture, it's like when they drink from the vampire. I think it's just an infection of the blood that is most commonly taken in through the stomach, like through digestion. Like the digestive fluids break down the blood in a particular way that allows the virus to then take hold.
And of course, when it goes through the intestines, that's where it's absorbing it straight into the body, and that's
something like that, right? So just touch.
It's a biological process.
So being fed upon doesn't do it, because like you're not taking their blood into your body and taking it in. It's only when, intentionally or not, you take in enough blood from someone who has this
thing. And it could happen to be that there are people out there who are purposely turning people.
Oh yeah. Well, and again, I think there's this whole society of people who are. It's been generations now. They've essentially bought into the vampire myth that this is how we have to live. We're a different species, but they're not. They're literally just humans with an infection that affects them in very unique ways.
And effectively, I like the idea of you as a scientist taking, samples and all this sort of stuff, and you start.
Oh yeah, I think
being able to go down into like, everyone who's got this has got almost the exact same gut flora. Like,
yeah.
And
just figuring out the metabolic things around the vitamin D production and
just how quickly it actually happens. Those, like, early on, there were a bunch of people who just got turned that would instantly set on fire, and it hasn't happened for quite a while. They still don't understand why sunlight affects them in this way.
Yeah. But I like the idea of having, you taking some of your own blood and like putting it on a test tube or whatever, and then shining a fucking UV light on it or whatever, and it just like starts to sizzle or whatever, and you're sort of doing these experiments with it, but then figuring out this vitamin D thing and realizing we didn't have to be killing these people. Like, you only need a very tiny amount of vitamin D, and if it's diffused through this other thing, effectively taking a vitamin D tablet, making it super, super weak, super potent, and then putting it into a fluid of some sort. Like, essentially, you just need a
fluid suspension, basically.
Yeah, suspension of vitamin D very weakly put through this, and that's where this regret starts coming in, and this self-hatred of like, holy fuck, like so many people have died, we could have just figured this out, and it's essentially just a medical thing. But yeah, that's cool. I don't know what sort of game it is, but the world building's fun. Match 3. You're matching up the vitamin D. It's fucking Dr. Mario.
It's just a fucking match 3. It's like Merge Mansion or whatever the fuck.
Well, or that what's that dinosaur hunter? There's a game that came out recently that is a match 3, but it's played. It's a full story based thing, and it's very satirical. I think number 3 is like they brought out like number 3 or whatever. It's the first game. I played the demo of it, but yeah, it's a match 3, but it's all story based. So I'm very attracted to the idea of just putting simple gameplay stuff and then putting a really like intense story around it.
Intense story that just, it gets to a certain end, and then it's like, okay, you've reached the end of the story, But, now you can just now you can just play the rest of the match free. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's really funny.
We have not done a match 3 for ages.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, that's the end of each of this episode.
Yeah, I think that does bring us to the end of the episode. So if you'd like to find our previous episodes online, you can go to bitstomcast.com. They're all up there, or anywhere else you can find podcasts. Also check out bitstom.games to see what we're up to there with some video game stuff.
If you like the song that we play at the start and end of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure by the band Kuradust. Find it for free at kuradust.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott, and just might try some of this vitamin D.